Manassas, Virginia. They have checked in. One of my favorite town names in the country, by the way. How many games will Penn State win with Matt Campbell, and why did you say 12? We're not doing this this year. We're not doing this this year. Okay, last year I let a lot of false allegations slide, and I shouldn't have. So this year we're reining this stuff in. So it's very important for the record to show what I have said and what I have not said. Have I said that Matt Campbell is the savior of Penn State football? Of course I have. Have I said that he's going to win 12 games this year? I absolutely have not. 10 at most. But double-digit wins are on the table. Yes, the over-under win total at FanDuel is 9.5. Okay, so I'm not the only one who is looking at this as something that's not quite as crazy as it sounds. Normally when you fired a coach and then you're bringing another one in, you're kind of starting from scratch. That's not what they're doing up there. You cannot overstate, though, how poorly this could have gone. We're talking about Penn State playoff contention in year one under Matt Campbell. This could have been an utter disaster. This was an over 50-day coaching search, dead end after dead end after dead end. Meanwhile, the GPS, me, is pointing them down the proper road. And finally, out of, a lack of options, Pat Kraft heads down the Matt Campbell road and he says, "Sure, I'll come coach for you." Stunned. I was utterly stunned. And so it's like, any of a number of 90s action movies where a guy jumps out of a third-story window and just lands on his feet. It's inexplicable. It's not supposed to happen. It wouldn't really work that way in real life. This is not the way a bungled coaching search normally turns out. I could say the same thing at Auburn, by the way. Normally, you screw up coaching searches like this. First off, you're out of your job. And secondly, you're firing the guy that you ended up hiring 2 years later. They ended up hiring the guy who should have been their first option. It just so happened that it worked out that way. What do we know about 2026, though? Because that's what you asked about. I didn't say he's going to win 12, but you're asking how many could he win? Well, like I said, the FanDuel over-under win total is 9.5 in year one. What do we know about the schedule? Out of conference, ridiculous, embarrassing, abomination. Matt Campbell did not create the schedule, but he will benefit from it. What do we know? By the way, if you're listening on pod and you cannot see the slider that Bradley just put up, Marshall and Temple and Buffalo. Oh, they go on the road to Temple, Josh. Yes, they will outnumber the locals there 5-1, too. It's just like it's an extended home game. It's a good, solid reason for the fine folks in central Pennsylvania to head over to Philly for the afternoon. Probably a noon kickoff, don't you think? Probably back by sundown. It's early September, so we're not getting those sunsets by 3:30 p.m. So yeah. Then, hey, quick time out here. Are you subscribed to the channel? It doesn't cost anything. It's free. Please do it. It helps us maintain the show at this level. That's it. That's all I got. Back to the clip. The meat of the schedule is USC and at Penn and at Michigan. That's the crux of the schedule, the 10th and 17th of October. There's a trip to Washington in early November. There's no Oregon here. There's no Ohio State here. There's no Indiana here. So that's what we know about the schedule. It sounds like I take the schedule personally. I don't. I just want people to remember this come playoff selection time. What do we know about the roster? Several positions of strength here. Tight end, check. Linebacker, check. Secondary, check. Offensive line, ellipsis right now. Could surprise some people. So it's not going to be an X. It's not going to be a check, but I'm leaning more towards check. Quarterback, experienced. I don't necessarily count on Rocco Beck to get 20% better. I just think he is who he is, and anything above and beyond that, I'm happy to be surprised by. But it's not going to be a weakness. Could possibly be a strength for him. Wide receiver and defensive line are question marks. So that's what we got to figure out. And as Mimo always taught us, that's what God invented spring football for, and to a lesser but also relevant degree, fall camp. So what could happen in year one? Well, it could be a nice, solid starting point in the best of cases. In the worst of cases, it could be a disaster. There's also this scenario where sometimes a guy's first year is the best year he has. I think Gus Malzahn at Auburn. Malzahn comes in at Auburn in 2013, and they go to the national title game in his first year, and he never got there again. And I was doing radio in Columbus at the time, brand new. Didn't know what I was doing. I went on air one day, And I said, hey, there's no guarantee they'll ever get back. This could be the closest that Gus ever gets to winning a national title. They didn't like it, but I ended up being right. And maybe that happens for Matt Campbell this year. I'm not banking on that, but maybe that happens. But anyway, at the very least, we don't have to wait a few years before Penn State's blip on the radar screen is close enough to relevance for us to talk about them. They should be in it this year. We'll see. I mentioned the over-under win total being 9.5. It's available. It's available right now over at FanDuel. You can go look at it. You can go think about it. You can go bet it. If you're really sick, like some members of the staff, it can be one of 17 legs of a parlay that you put in. You had a shocking and frankly a disappointing amount of support behind producer Jesse's 17-team parlay the other day. And look, you guys want to ride with him? Be my guest. There are a lot of ships at the bottom of the ocean that had a lot of people on them. So I'm not deterred. I am going to actively not root against this parlay this fall because that would be unethical. But what I will have is I will have my wag finger ready to shake in everyone's face who looked at this the other day at plus 100 juice and tried to convince me it's a sure thing. No, death and taxes are. A 17-team parlay for teams not to make the playoff is not that. It's something, but it's not that. However, if you think it is, FanDuel is the place to go. Should we hit Mike up? Should we ask? We're not going to do it today. It's Sunday. Put it on the agenda for Monday. Let's hit Mike up. Let's put that ridiculous parlay together, and let's ask him: do we want to make that a tab? Do we want to have a special promo code? If you don't want to take 30 minutes out of your day and add in all 17 teams, do we just want to make that a tab? Because we do have the power to do those sorts of things. PateStateMaterial.com is your source as we speak to gear up. Maybe you're a full-grown adult and you can go buy larges and extra larges. Maybe you're an infant. We appreciate you watching the show. You got to start them young. We got stuff for you too. I don't even care if you haven't spoken your first words. If you're watching the show, you got internet. So the Little Freights collection is available for you. Maybe if your parent wants to purchase for you, we allow that too. But PateStateMaterial.com, got new items in there. And especially if you haven't been there since like summer of last year, because I noticed some of your patterns out there, you guys just stock up in August and you're good for the year. And I appreciate it. But you should know we've dropped a lot of new items in there since then.